Hey everybody, just a quick little experimental video here, but I wanted to do a relaxing preview for football this weekend. So let me switch over cameras, and we've got the screens for some of the games that I'm more interested in. Most of these are going to be Big 12 college football games, but being in the state of Iowa, there's some other ones to look at too. So first one is Cincinnati at BYU. This is a pretty dead even game, it looks like, and both teams are new to the Big 12 this year, so it'll be interesting to see which one gets their first Big 12 win, and honestly don't have much of a read on it, but I would say out of either of them, BYU will probably win just with the age of their team and how old the guys on their team are. But this is a Friday night game, so tonight, 9:15, so first game of the week is on Friday. Moving on to, obviously got to talk about Colorado. If you're in the loop with any college football, they've just been blasted all over. They're against USC, and I would be surprised if they don't just get blasted out of the water. I think USC easily wins this, and the over-under is sitting at about 72, 73. Honestly, it depends on how they're feeling, but I could see it going over, and USC just completely destroying them. I think it only hits over if Colorado manages to actually get some points on the board, but I don't think they're going to have too fun of a time out here. Next up is Illinois and Purdue. Both these teams, kind of local hometown teams, but they both just kind of suck, at least lately. But out of either one, it's kind of a pick-em again, but I'd say out of either of them, I'd like to see Illinois win, but I'm not confident in them being able to win. I think Purdue would actually pull out with it, but close game down to the wire. Moving on, back to Big 12, Kansas and Texas. This is going to be a bloodbath. I'm in a Big 12 survivor pool, and I picked Texas this week, and I don't think it's going to be super close. Texas has shown that they might actually be back this year, but yeah, Kansas has been better than years past, but I don't think they can hold on to Texas too much. I think it'll be close for the first quarter or two, but after that, Kansas is just going to get worn out. I would definitely take Texas to win and probably cover the 16. Moving on to Houston and Texas Tech. Again, all these Big 12, new Big 12 schools are having a rough time getting into the league, into the new conference, and Texas Tech hasn't been great this year to start the season, but I definitely am confident in them to win this one, especially with a spread of 8. That's kind of in a rough spot. It really just depends on who turns the ball over more, whether that spread's going to hit or not. But Texas Tech is definitely a comfortable win. Baylor and UCF. Again, UCF, the new school, but they won't have any issue getting their win this week in the league because of how awfully bad Baylor has been. They're just disgustingly bad this year for some reason, and well, for lots of reasons, but I don't see them recovering or bouncing back from that anytime soon, so I think UCF will comfortably take this, probably by more than the 10.5 that they're projected to. Moving on, the game that I care the most about, but I'm the most scared for, obviously Iowa State versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a killer team, but man, they're not like playoff worthy, I don't think, in terms of college football playoffs, but they're definitely number one in the Big 12. I think they could beat Texas, and it's really just going to be up to whether Iowa State can still pass the ball like they did last week, but that's not too confident against this Oklahoma defense, and Iowa State cannot run the ball, especially against Oklahoma's run defense, which is spectacular. I think Iowa State their defense will be able to hold Oklahoma for a while. It just depends on how long the offense is able to stay out there and whether the defense has enough time to rest between drives and stuff. And as long as we're not turning it over too much, I think that Iowa State will be able to not lose by more than 20 points. I think Iowa State will cover the spread, but I don't think they'll win. Big game. the Hawkeyes versus Michigan State going out of the Big 12 again, but Michigan State just not great. Obviously, easy win for the Hawkeyes. I think they're going to bounce back a bunch after the loss they had last week against Penn State. They're going to want to recover a little bit. But, I mean, Michigan State is just bad. And the Hawkeyes, I mean, with their defense, they'll be able to hold them. Their offense is, who knows. But Hawkeyes definitely to win. And if anything, whatever the team total is for Michigan State, hit under that. I think it was like 12.5 the last time I saw it. I don't think they're going to be able to put up many points. This over-under is super low, and it could honestly hit under. It could be into a like third quarter 0-0 type of game. Moving on, last game of the Big 12 games is West Virginia and TCU. West Virginia also just sucks down there at the bottom of the Big 12 with Iowa State out of all the non-new teams. So TCU, definitely not what they were last year, but they're still not bad. I mean, they're not great, but compared to West Virginia, they're great. Obviously, with a 13.5 or 14-point spread, there's going to be a lot of gap. And I don't track either of these teams much, but I know enough that TCU will win, but I don't know enough to say that spread. I'd say if you get it at 13.5, hit it at that, but not at 14. Finally, moving on to Sunday with some NFL. I don't track too much besides the Bears and the 49ers, sometimes the Chiefs and the Saints. Bears have a big game this week because of how bad they are, but also how bad the Broncos are. 2 0-3 teams facing off to see who will get their first win. And if the Bears don't get this win, I don't know how they recover. I already don't know how they recover from everything that's been going on. But if they go 0-4 against and lose to the Broncos, I don't know. I don't know what happens. Justin Fields is already talking about the bigger things in life and appreciating the greener pastures out there. And at the end of the day, it's just football, which is great, no. But saying that after week 3 is not a good look for a quarterback. Hopefully the Bears can win, but at home, they're 3-point underdogs, which isn't a great look. I'm hoping they can do something, but I'm not confident in anything. The only other games out here, San Francisco 49ers, obviously very clean win, I would think, against the Cardinals, who started off pretty bad and somehow have been able to upset the Cowboys and do decent, but I think 49ers are just way better than the Cowboys anyways, can easily handle Arizona, and I would not be surprised if they win by more than 2 touchdowns, which is what the spread is here. And then finally for the Sunday night primetime game, Chiefs versus Jets. I gotta enjoy the Jets because they're basically the New York Cyclones at this rate with how many Iowa State players they have, but the Chiefs are just, they're not as much of a powerhouse as they used to be, but definitely a sort of powerhouse still. And I don't even go into New York. I think the Jets are just going to be outmatched, especially with having to play Zach Wilson as their quarterback and not having Aaron Rodgers. That just like shot them in the foot after 4 plays into the season. I don't know how they really recover from that besides a lot more practice, but we saw what Wilson as a quarterback did last year, and I doubt that much is going to be improved. So definitely Chiefs, and probably cover 8.5 if you get it at 8. If you get it at 8.5, boy. So yeah, those are the main games this week that I'd be interested in, and we'll probably keep tabs on. If you guys have any teams that you really enjoy, and if I make more videos like this and you want to see a little overview of them, let me know. I can throw them in here, but otherwise, might try this again with shorts, or just doing something like this again and throwing it up there. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you later.